Yeah, we back. Now today's gonna be a quick video. Now, listen, I need y'all to send the link to this video to all the detractors, right? All the so-called Tariq Nasheed foot soldiers. Tariq Nasheed, send this video to Dennis Sperling. Send this video to the real Dana. I heard she was talking nonsense on the African Union last night. Send this video to everybody in that space, right? I don't even know all their names, right? I'm sure you do. Even those I don't even know. Send this video out, right? Today we are going to be presenting all the U.S. politicians, the American elites, the political elites that are descendants of slave-holding criminals that are still spending the slave money, right? Over 100 U.S. political elites, presidents, lawmakers, Supreme Court justices, the direct descendants of slave-holding criminals. These are the people who had your foremothers and your forefathers in bondage and passed down the profits to their children, right? Now, the slave money didn't vanish, right? The slave money still in circulation, right? Like I said before, it's in the hedge funds, it's in land ownership, real estate, it's in university endowments, it's all over the goddamn place. They're still eating good off the slave money, right? So in today's video, we're going to get into it. We're going to call these people out directly by name. And then I want you guys to send this video out to all the influencers, all the content creators, all the talking heads in that space, right? Send it to their emails all over the place, right? And then we're going to see if they're going to address these individuals in the same way that I'm going to address these individuals. Now, the first person we're going to talk about is U.S. Senator from Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, right? Her direct ancestor, Benjamin Ulmer, was a slaveholding criminal who held 4 individuals in bondage, right? Now, those 4 individuals, right? Let's say those 4 individuals had children, right? Let's say they each had, 4 kids, right? That means that the next generation, they would have 16 descendants. And let's say those 16 descendants also have 4 kids. That's 64 descendants. And let's say those 64 descendants also have 4 kids. That's over 200 descendants, right? So now once you go down the generations from those 4 individuals in bondage, you could have over 1,000 descendants, right? So there's 1,000 descendants that Marsha Blackburn held your great-great-grandmama and great-granddaddy in bondage. You got to do something about that. Let's continue. The next person we're going to be talking about is former U.S. Senator from Missouri, Roy Blunt. His direct ancestor, Thomas Alexander, had 1 individual in bondage. Okay, so he wasn't, his ancestor wasn't a big planter, a very humble planter, only had a labor force of 1 person. Now let's continue. Next person on the list is John Boozman. His direct ancestor, Micaiah Gootsby, had 2 individuals in bondage. Now let's continue. Next person we're going to be talking about is former U.S. Senator from North Carolina, Richard Burr. His direct ancestor, William Yancey, held 14 individuals in bondage. Now, from those 14 individuals, if he's about 4 generations removed, then there could be up to 3,000 blacks, 3,000 individuals whose forefathers and foremothers have direct beef with U.S. Senator Richard Burr. 3,000, right? Now, the list just began. We got a whole long list to go through, and we already got at least 5,000 descendants that can claim reparations from these families, from these planter families that have still kept the slave money in their coffers. Now, I know nothing's going to happen. I know none of these influencers on YouTube, none of these guys on YouTube are going to make a video about this or respond to this. So I'm just doing this video for no reason, because y'all ain't about to do nothing with it. But let's continue. Next on the list is Shelley Moore Capito, former U.S. Senator from West Virginia. Her direct ancestor, Jacob Riley, held 5 individuals in bondage. Now, she is 4 generations removed. So like I said, let's say each of those 5 individuals had 4 kids. That's 20 children in the following generation. Let's say those children also had 4 kids. That could be 80 children, 80 grandchildren. Then they have 4 kids. That could be over 300 great grandchildren, right? And then they have 4 kids. The next generation, that's over 1,000, right? And that's just conservative estimates, because we know back in those days, a lot of women, they had 5, 10, 15, 17 kids. So obviously those numbers could be way higher. I'm just giving conservative estimates. So like I said, so far, just a few people we mentioned, we have thousands of descendants that have legal claim for reparations directly from these planter families. But of course, like I said, these guys on YouTube who are raging against the African continent, raging against African immigrants, right? Meanwhile, a white immigrant, Donald Trump, with a white immigrant wife is ruling the nation, right? And they don't say nothing about that. You think these guys are going to have the courage to open their mouth against these prominent individuals, these prominent political families? No, I'm doing this video for no reason, because nothing's going to happen. These guys ain't going to do shit. Let's continue. Next on the list, we have U.S. Senator Tom Carper. His direct ancestor, Hardin Shoemate, enslaved one individual. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from Louisiana, Bill Cassidy. His direct ancestor, Pebbles Hasty, enslaved 4 individuals. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from Texas, John Cornyn. His direct ancestor, Nathaniel Townsend, enslaved 2 individuals. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton. His direct ancestor, John Cowger, enslaved 6 individuals. Now, like I said before, if they had at least 4 people in bondage, that means in the modern day, that's at least 1,000 descendants at the very least. So when you guys see guys with more than 4 individuals in bondage, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, so you can just compound that and see that it goes up into the thousands. And when you accumulate all these families together, then you're going to see it's probably going to reach into the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe even the millions. So let's continue. But of course, nobody's going to bring any litigation, any lawsuits against these guys. A lot of these clowns on YouTube rather go attack the African continent or sit up online raging about African immigrants. But of course, Senator Tom Cotton, he's never going to get a lawsuit at his desk. Nope. When it comes to these guys, they get to keep all the money. They get to keep all the slave money. But when it comes to me, they want to sue me and bring me to court. They want my money. But Tom Cotton and all the rest of these guys, they can keep all their money. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth. Now, of course, as you can see, she's Asian, but when you do her information, when you do her biography, you realize that her father was a passport bro. So her father is comes from colonial stock, and her mother is from Thailand. So obviously you can see, her father was one of these, passport bros going to, second world, third world countries for international poom poom, things like that. That's how she was created, right? So as you can see, her forefather, Henry Coe, held 4 individuals in bondage, and she is 7 generations removed. So that could be thousands of descendants. Let's continue. Now, I'm going to go to the more prominent individuals who held a lot of individuals in bondage, because I don't want to go through each one. Oh, this person had 2 people. This person had 3 people. Let's just go into the heavy hitters, because I don't want the video to be too long. We already 7 minutes in, right? So let's go. Next person on the list, U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty, U.S. Senator from Tennessee. His direct ancestor, Robert Dwiggins, held 23 individuals in bondage, in torture, and he is 4 generations removed. That means at the very least, at the most conservative estimates, there's at least 5,000 descendants of those individuals who are in bondage, who are walking around today, who can make legal claims against the family, against the planter family of U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty. Now, is anything going to happen? Of course not. These guys too busy raging against the African immigrants. They're never going to stop and take the smoke to Senator Bill Hagerty. Of course not. Bill Hagerty, keep spending the money, right? You can keep the money. These guys, they go confront you. These guys are a bunch of cowards anyway. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. His direct ancestor, Nathan Calhoun, held 65 individuals in bondage, and he is 5 generations removed. That means at the very least, at the most conservative estimates, there's at least 60,000 individuals walking around today that have a legal claim against the planter family of U.S. Senator John Kennedy. Now, is anything going to happen? Of course not. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from Maryland, Chris Van Hollen. His direct ancestor, Isaac Hollingsworth, held 16 individuals in bondage, and he is 6 generations removed. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator from New Mexico, Martin Heinrich. His direct ancestor, Nancy Alford, so his great-great-great-grandmama, right, held 12 individuals in bondage, and he is 7 generations removed. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Senator Maggie Hassan. Her direct ancestor, Jonathan Wood, held 13 individuals in bondage. Next up on the list, we have Brian Kemp, I believe the former governor of Georgia. His direct ancestor, John Lewis, held 56 individuals in bondage, and he is 6 generations removed. That would mean at the very least, conservative estimates, right? Conservative. Let's say each enslaved individual had, just a few kids. That would mean that there's at least 200,000 possible descendants originating from the 56 enslaved individuals that were held in bondage on the estate of his ancestor, John Lewis. Now, keep in mind, so far in this list, we had over 250,000 descendants, 250,000 people, right? That can make legal claims. But has a single lawsuit been filed? Of course not. But who got a lawsuit against them? Neferkari Dessalines. These guys talking about we're going to go attack the African continent. But meanwhile, you got hundreds of thousands of individuals that can make legal claims. But not a single lawsuit has been filed. Not a single lawsuit has hit the desk of a judge. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have former governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson. His direct ancestor, Austin Woodward, held 42 individuals in bondage, and he is 4 generations removed. That would mean at the very least, there's at least 10,000 individuals walking around right now who can make a legal claim as the descendants of those held captive on the estate of the ancestor of Asa Hutchinson. Now let's continue. Next on the list, we have former governor of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards, whose direct ancestor, Daniel Edwards, held 57 individuals in bondage, and he is 5 generations removed. That would mean there's at least 50,000 individuals who are the descendants of those 57 individuals who were enslaved on the estate of the ancestor of former governor John Bel Edwards. Now, is anything going to happen? Of course not. Is anybody going to be sued? Is anybody going to file a lawsuit against them? Of course not. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have former President George W. Bush. George W. Bush, whose direct ancestor, Peter Foray, enslaved 25 individuals, and he is 6 generations removed. That would mean there's at least 100,000 individuals who can make a legal claim against the family of George Bush. Now, is anything going to happen? Of course not. Of course not. Lawsuits are only reserved for individuals like me. Let's continue. Next on the list, we have former President Jimmy Carter, whose direct ancestor, James Carter, enslaved 54 individuals, and he is 4 generations removed. Now, I believe Jimmy Carter just passed away, but just because he passed away doesn't mean the slave money isn't still in circulation. The slave money is still in circulation. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Representative from Nevada, Dina Titus, whose direct ancestor, Francis Hopkins, held 183 individuals in bondage, and she is 6 generations removed. Now listen, her ancestor, Francis Hopkins, that's what you call a big planter, right? He wasn't a small time planter who had 2 individuals, 5 individuals. No, he had damn near 200 individuals. That's what you call a big planter, right? In French, that's what you call grand planter. In Spanish, that's what you call gran plantador. You're right. In Portuguese, that's what you call grande fazendero or whatever. Listen, big planter, Francis Hopkins. All right. There's at least 700,000 individuals walking around today that can make a legal claim against his descendants, his family. Now, is anything going to happen? Of course not. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Representative from Texas, Peter Sessions, whose direct ancestor, Richard Sessions, held 96 individuals in bondage, and he is 5 generations removed. That would mean, at the very least, right, conservative estimates, there's at least 100,000 individuals today originating from those 96 that were held captive by the family of Pete Sessions. Let's continue. Next on the list, we have U.S. Representative from Arkansas, French Hill, whose direct ancestor, Creed Taylor, held 70 individuals in bondage, and he is 6 generations removed. That means at the very least, there's at least 250,000 individuals, 250,000 individuals who originate from those 70 individuals that were held captive by Creed Taylor on his estate 6 generations ago. So at this point, right, and I haven't even gone through the whole list because I skipped a bunch of individuals who had small numbers, 7 slaves, 4 slaves, 10 slaves. I went straight to the big boys. And just in this small list alone, we already have millions of descendants that can bring claims. Now, of course, has a single lawsuit been filed? Of course not. I'm the one fighting lawsuits in court, not these guys. Let's continue. Next up on the list, we have former U.S. Representative from South Carolina, Tom Rice, whose direct ancestor, William Lawson, held 64 individuals in bondage. Next up on the list, we have U.S. Representative from South Carolina, Ralph Norman, whose direct ancestor, Peyton Norman, held 61 individuals in bondage 4 generations ago. So listen, man, I'm not going to go through the entire list. It'll be a very long video. You can go check it out. You can search it up, man. But the information is out there, you know, where the money's located. Like I said, the money's still in circulation. If you want it, you can go get it. But I understand it's way more fun and entertaining to go rage about Africans all goddamn day instead of attacking your true adversary who really got the slave money still in his coffers, right? Even though you want to rage about African immigrants all day, but a white immigrant from Germany, Donald Trump, is ruling over the nation, right? A Norwegian immigrant, Pete Hegseth, is the Secretary of Defense. So like I said, clown movement, Sambo movement, I gave y'all some of the descendants of the biggest planters in the country, and I guarantee not a single one of y'all gonna do a goddamn thing about it. Not a single one of y'all so-called YouTubers, YouTube influencers, YouTube guys fighting for reparations. Not a single one of y'all gonna do a goddamn thing with this. You know, I made this video for no reason. My channel not even monetized, so I'm not even getting paid for this. I wasted my time, basically. I wasted my whole fucking time. Let's continue. Actually, I'm gone, man. It's your boy Neferkari, that's Salim. 21 Cannons, first track, first single off the album. Check it out. Pin comment at the top. Subscribe to the Patreon, NCD1814. Link in the description. And I'm gone. Peace.
Yeah, walk in the room and I stop all that talking. Stay on alert and I'm moving with caution. Feeling like baby, I'm up in New Orleans. Feeling like Stunner, feeling like Wheezy. Look at my nigga, my wrist is Fiji. Trying to get cash, I don't wanna be famous. Look at my nigga, my wrist contagious. Ain't no stopping when I get started. Ain't no stopping, gotta go harder. Drop that top, whip go brainless. Chasing that check, I ain't trying to be famous. Whipping that Benz, feeling like spaceships. Everything official, ain't no fake shit. Doors unlocked, community gated. Look at this ice, bet they gon' hate it. Look at my life, enemy vanquished. And it's on sight, gun in your faces. Look at that love, turn to hatred. Kill my ops like a Haitian. Ain't no love, ain't no honor, ain't no trust, ain't no conscience. I ain't perfect, but I'm honest. Enemy lurking, enemy watching, enemy stalking, taking photos 24/7. Straight surveillance, hit a new spot, change location. Shorty got wet off my cadence. Just see ice, but I got papers. Ladies love me, and I got flavors. Ain't no love in these streets. Nigga, yo jaloux, yo méchant. Got them chains off my feet, by the sword and by the gun. They throw flowers at my feet, and they say that I'm the one, and they say that I'm the target. When they see me, they pay homage. Shorty talking about divesting, she with Malibu most wanted. When I go and get that check, I put it up and make it stack. Breaking that bank, whipping that Benzo. When I pull off, it go fast. Need a Fortune 5 accountant just to count up all this cash. Got these Sambos trying to sue me just to make me walk it back. Yeah, walk in the room and I stop all that talking. Stay on alert and I'm moving with caution. Feeling like baby, I'm up in New Orleans. Feeling like Stunner, feeling like Wheezy. Look at my nigga, my wrist is Fiji. Trying to get cash, I don't wanna be famous. Look at my nigga, my wrist contagious. Ain't no stopping when I get started. Ain't no stopping, gotta go harder. Drop that top, whip go brainless. Chasing that check, I ain't trying to be famous. Whipping that Benz, feeling like spaceships. Everything official, ain't no fake shit. Doors unlocked, community gated. Look at this ice, bet they gon' hate it. Look at my life, enemy vanquished. And it's on sight, gun in your faces. Look at that love, turn to hatred. Kill my ops like a Haitian. Ain't no love, ain't no honor, ain't no trust, ain't no conscience. I ain't perfect, but I'm honest. Enemy lurking, enemy watching, enemy stalking, taking photos 24/7. Straight surveillance, hit a new spot, change location. Shorty got wet off my cadence. Just see ice, but I got papers. Ladies love me, and I got flavors. Ain't no love in these streets. Nigga, yo jaloux, yo méchant.